Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone live on this Halloween night. I wish I was here to talk about something happy, but news has just, as you know, I'm only up a couple of hours, so I didn't see it. But the news broke that James Bond legend Sean Connery passed away in the Bahamas Islands, aged 90 years of age. According to his son, he wasn't very well for the last couple of months, and he sadly has passed away. Listen, 2020 has been a bad year for celebrities as well as all of us. But to lose such an icon like Sean Connery is actually kind of quite upsetting, to be quite honest with you. I mean, this is a man that we've all grown up with as well. He played an iconic role. I mean, he's been in other stuff like The Great Train Robbery and stuff like that, but he's well known for playing James Bond. And, you know, some will say he's the definitive Bond. Others are Roger Moore fans. Now, the Roger Moore Twitter account, the official Twitter account, they put up a nice little message. But us as fans now, it's up to us to protect their legacies, because we have heard the rumblings around that they want to gender swap this iconic role. And I think it'd be disrespectful to those two men who played the role for a woman to come swanning in and take over that role. I'm sorry, I disagree. And I know it's not about that, but we have to remember there's a lot of James Bond fans out there. This is one franchise that a lot of people have grown up with, just like Star Wars, just like Doctor Who and all those other shows. This was a franchise that we grew up with. And, you know, we've lost an icon, we've lost a legend. You know, I hear a lot of people say they don't make actors like him anymore. They certainly don't. We still have one or two still left, fortunately. But Sean Connery is a kick in the guts. You know, he's every man's man, isn't he? If I want to pour it out, everybody wants to be Sean Connery. Everybody wanted to be James Bond. I just can't get over it. But look, people will argue he's 90 years of age. He lived a long life. I still feel there was a few more years left in that man, yeah. And he looked well for his age. You know, now obviously we haven't seen what he's been like. If he has been sick the last couple of months, you know, he's a very private man anyway. We wouldn't get too much details on it, but the outpouring of love for this man, just when Roger Moore passed away as well, you know, a lot of us as young lads grew up with, well, I grew up with obviously Roger Moore, right? He was my Bond because that was the age period when he was around. But I remember on Irish TV, they did, and they still do to this day, they do a Bond season and they start off with Dr. No. They always do Sean Connery first. And that's how I got to fall in love with Sean Connery as James Bond. Bond was a big thing in our house. Anytime there's a Bond movie on, still to this day, if my dad knows there's a Bond movie on, if it's Roger Moore or Sean Connery, he'll whack it on. He might whack on the odd Pierce Brosnan one, but if Sean Connery and and Roger Moore's Bond's on the TV, he will watch. There's no hesitation. He'll put it on the TV. And I think a lot of us are like that. It doesn't matter how many times we've seen these movies. We've watched them over and over again, and they never fail. They never fail to entertain. But look, he became a role model for a lot of young men. Sean Connery did, just like Roger Moore would have when he took the role. And there has been these rumblings over the last couple of years. Should James Bond be a woman? Well, our job as fans now is to make sure that never happens and to protect these guys' legacies because they deserve that. They gave us something that growing up, we all connected to the character. We all wanted to be him. So, we're fans, we our job is to protect their legacies, and we will make sure that the next person that's cast in this role is a man, because that's the way it should be, none of this. Look, and I hate all of these women that come out, well, we could change if we want to. No, you can't. It's in the source material, and you're going to respect these two legends. So to all my fellow Scottish friends, because I know some of you are devastated, I just want to say I'm sorry to lose such an icon. I know what it's like. We have our icons here in Ireland, and we're very protective of them. And I know Scottish people were very protective of Sean Connery. And, a lot of you will be feeling the loss out there, not just his family, but fans too. And the predicament that we're in, fans won't be able to do what they normally do when an actor like that or an actress like that passes away. They won't be able to pay their respects because obviously the situation we're in. So even that even makes it worse for me, because even if it's just, I just don't know what to say. 2020 is officially, look, everybody says it, but it is true. 2020 is one of the worst bleeding. Oh man. I've lived through bad years growing up as a kid, and I know there are older people here that have probably, when they were a kid, it was even worse back then. But I don't know, lads. I think 2020 is the worst year that anybody's ever had. This just keeps getting worse and worse. And it's not just because celebrities are dying. We see what's going on out there in the world. We see all the craziness. And, this is why we adore actors like Sean Connery and Roger Moore. They might have had their political beliefs and their personal beliefs, right? But when it came to their job, and their job was acting, they acted. They didn't put any of their political beliefs into their movies. They just made their movies, right? If they wanted to talk about politics or talk about how governments should be run, they went on to the appropriate shows to do so, right? They don't make actors and actresses of that era like that anymore, right? They're old school. We still have Michael Douglas around, thanks be to God. I think Michael Caine's still going strong, isn't he, if I'm correct in saying? So we still have a couple of the classic actors and actresses around. But unfortunately, we're surrounded by these newer types that are just propaganda machines. And, they don't, as everybody has said, they don't make men like Sean Connery anymore or Roger Moore anymore. Look at men today, man. I'm bleeding disgusted by half of the stuff I see on Twitter. These idiots that are so-called men pandering to these women, feminists, right? Being made a fool out of. So in Ireland, we have a very strong connection to Sean Connery. I think it's the Scottish-Irish thing. We just love the Scots, and the Scots love us. But there is an article from an Irish newspaper. And I just wanted to see what they had to say about him. So they say James Bond actor Sean Connery dies age 90. And there's that iconic photograph, guys. Rest in peace, man. Well, at least you're away from all the madness. That's all I have to say. Oh man. Whew. Scottish movie legend Sean Connery, who shot to international stardom as the suave, sexy, and sophisticated British agent James Bond, and went on to dominate the silver screen for 4 decades. He died aged 90, the BBC and Sky News reported. Connery was raised in near poverty in the slums of Edinburgh and worked as a coffin polisher, a milkman, and a lifeguard before his bodybuilding hobby helped launch an acting career that made him one of the world's biggest stars. I mean, there, for example, I mean, look at this. I mean, a coffin polisher, a milkman, and a lifeguard. Before he became an actor, he worked his socks off. So when he got his success, I remember when he made the first James Bond movie, he was paid pittance. He was actually paid pittance. He will be remembered first as British Agent 007, the character created by novelist Ian Fleming and immortalised by Connery in films starting with Dr. No in 1962. His family has said the actor died peacefully in his sleep, surrounded by family, adding, "There will be a private ceremony followed by a memorial yet to be planned once the virus has ended." What, they're going to keep the world's greatest Scot, the last of the real Hollywood stars, the definitive Bond, said Alex Salmond, Scotland's former minister. I don't know why he's talking. Isn't he already? They shouldn't be getting him to bleed and say anything about James Bond. Sure, he's being accused of bleeding, sexually assaulting women, for God's sake. He is also a staunch patriot, a deep thinker, and an outstanding human being. Well, those words would mean something if it wasn't coming from you. Daniel Craig. Well, I'll be surprised if he didn't say anything, but let's see what he said. Has paid tribute to his fellow Bond actor, saying the wit and the charm he portrayed on screen could be measured in megawatts. He helped create the modern blockbuster, and you're destroying it now. As Bond, his debonair manner and wit humour in foiling flamboyant villains and cavorting with beautiful women belied a darker, violent edge, and he crafted a depth of character that set the standards for those who followed him in the role. He would introduce himself in the movies with the signature line, "Bond, James Bond." But Connery was unhappy being defined by the role and once said he hated that damned James Bond. I don't blame him. Tall and handsome, with a throaty voice to match and sometimes crusty personality, Connery portrayed a series of noteworthy roles besides Bond and won an Academy Award for his portrayal as tough Chicago cop in The Untouchables. If you haven't watched The Untouchables, that is a movie that a lot of you have to actually get your hands on and watch. It's absolutely fantastic. He was 59 with People's magazine, declared him the sexiest man alive in 1989. Well, he sure had an appeal for the women. He became fed up with idiots. Let me see. I don't want to read this whole article because I know everybody will just want to, some noteworthy non-Bond films include director Alfred Hitchcock's Marnie. I love that movie. The Wind and the Lion with Candice Bergen. Director John Huston. The Man Who Would Be King. I remember that one as well with Michael Caine. Director Steven Spielberg's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And the Cold War tale, The Hunt for Red October, which is a great movie as well. Yeah, there he is there. Listen, I have to be honest, he had some out there views. I remember one time the feminists came after him because he was very, when it came to women, he had old-fashioned views when it came to women. But again, he was a man of his time, he he didn't go out there and hurt anybody. And let's be honest, he certainly got around with the women anyway. Wasn't he with Michael Douglas's wife before she was with Michael Douglas? What's her face? Catherine Zeta-Jones. She had a thing for the older man, didn't she? She was with Connery first, I think, and then she ended up with Michael Douglas then, as we know, and married to him. But yeah, I mean, look, it was nice that Daniel Craig came out and said something, but you know, he's the one that's hired feminist writers to try change everything that this man created. So if you do truly respect him, you know, announce that you're leaving and, you know, take your writers with you. You know, we don't need that in James Bond. So I don't know how you guys feel in the chat, but I have to refresh myself real quickly. So I'm going to refresh myself. You leave a comment and let me know what you think about Sean Connery's passing. Also, what is your favorite Sean Connery movie? Let me know in the chat. Right, I'm back. Seriously, man, I'm actually gutted. I'm actually gutted, man. Like, I didn't know him. Nobody but us fans, like, you grow up with these men. You know, they become role models, not just your father, but these men, you look up to these men. You know, another one is gone. I just hope they don't I just hope they don't ruin the Bond legacy now with all of this nonsense. Because, and by the way, now that he's passed, No Time to Die should have and better have a little tribute to him at the end of that movie, or even or for Sean Connery or whatever. They better do something. I'm gonna have a James Bond day. Just me, sit there. I'm gonna watch all Connery movies again. They're easy to get anyway, so that's what I'll do next week. I'll just watch them by myself and pay my own little tribute to him that way. But he was, listen, whenever there actors like him are dying breed, we're never going to see the like of him again. And it is sad. And, you know, just reading that article there, though, it looks like his family are going to keep his body until they believe he can get a proper ceremony with people there. And to be honest with you, you know, I can understand that. Some people will say, well, you know, why not just, you know, bury him and then people can pay their respects. You know, he deserves that big funeral. I'm sorry, but he does. I mean, look, he's entertained us for the best part of most of his life. And I know that was his job, but he did it well. You know, he never complained. He gave it, you know, and even if he did hate Bond in the end, who cares? You know, I wouldn't care about that. I hate when newspapers actually put little snippets in like that, because then people take it way out of proportion what he actually meant. All actors and actresses hate being typecast anyway. The Rock is a great movie with Nick Cage. You're right, David. Dave travels through time. Great movie. I love him in that movie. That's with Ed Harris as well. That's when the Marines go rogue and take over. They take over Alcatraz. Good movie. That was when Nicolas Cage was actually good. You know, when he wasn't getting on people's nerves, but he kept acting the same way over and over. But yeah, he's brilliant in that movie, and he has some great one-liners as well. I love The Rock. Untouchables, though, is his greatest movie. I don't care what anybody says. He won the Oscar and all for that. I mean, that's just brilliant. And if you haven't seen The Untouchables, you need to see it. Also, a little favorite movie of mine was his version, or the version that he starred in, of The Great Train Robbery. That was a good movie as well. So yeah, look, he's been in other stuff that I liked him in, not just Bond, but he will be remembered and be defined by this role, whether he likes it or not. But we should remember those other movies. We should remember those other movies, and yeah, it's just I just don't know what to say anymore. I had to do a video because I know there's a lot of guys out there like myself that have grown up with these legends. As far as I'm concerned, they're both legends, Connery and Moore. And now they can look down on this shit show, with their martinis, shaken, not stirred, and look down and laugh at what's going on. Because I say they'd be truly bloody horrified what's going on today in today's world. So I just wanted to do a brief video because we do have Star Wars. I mean, look, we'll G ourselves up for that, but I mean, to wake up to this news was a bit of it knocked me back. As soon as I walked into the sitting room, I put on the kettle, and Cheryl just stared at me, and I was like, "What's she staring at me for?" Right? Because I was still half asleep. It was like, and then I went, "Whoa!" And she went, "Sean Connery is dead." And then the whole room just went silent, and I walked out with me tea. And I just, well, thank you for the memories. Thank you for getting us through all the tough times, because I know there'll be people that were watching your movies that may have been going through a tough time in their lives. See, this is what modern fans don't get, is that we all get emotionally attached to these characters and the people playing them, and they mean a lot to us. And when one of them passes, it hurts. Or if a franchise gets destroyed, it hurts. And it hurts today. So rest in peace, Sir Sean. Thank you for the memories. And thank you for getting us through the tough times. And we will honor your legacies by protecting them. As fans, we will make sure that James Bond, because the James Bond community is very vocal, and they don't take crap, but they're very vocal. And we mustn't do what we've done with other franchises, sit back and watch them try inject all of this feminist crap into the franchise, right? We must start now fighting back. We must tell the producers of Bond that this is not what we want. We want James Bond the way it was originally done, and that's what we want. We don't want it any other way. We don't want, if you want to create a female secret agent, well then don't call it Bond, call it something completely different, and do your own fucking franchise. James Bond is a male role, and will continue if we do our jobs properly as fans. We protect the legacies of those two men and make sure that the franchise is not taken over by a bunch of feminists. Now, I know the woman that heads it all is a woman, but she understands the role. She did come out and say, but her mind can be changed, and I don't want it to be changed. So she said, Barbara has said that James Bond is a male role. Well, honour Sean Connery and Roger Moore by sticking to that. After Craig goes, you cast a man. Simple as that. And if the left start giving out about it, you don't say nothing. You do your movie, you release your movie, and the James Bond fans that have been with you for decades will go and watch your movie and make your movie a success. All right. Right, so we've got Star Wars in 50 minutes. So I'm going to go off now, get set up for that. Organize, just finalize the panel, see who's coming on. I already know a couple of people that are coming on. I actually invited a couple of new people last night as well, because I don't think we will have the two lads, Mega Geek and Keith. I think they did say they couldn't make it. So we're going to have a couple of new panelists joining us for that one. And then we're back tomorrow then for the last movie as well. And we've also gotten Mandalorian episode season 2, episode 1. We haven't done a review yet. Myself and Lee are actually going to review that because I think Rabbi is doing reviews on his own channel. So I'm going to do a review here with Lee on the Mandalorian. So it'll be me and Lee from the Mando. I'll see if I can get someone else to join us and have a trio panel. I'll see if there's anybody out there that has watched it that's willing to come on, and we will do that. And we still have to do Mando season 1, which we will get done. We will get done. I'll try get it done tomorrow before we go live with the other Star Wars thing like I've just done now. And we'll do a brief review. So, yeah. So I hope you can all join me for The Empire Strikes Back. That's in 50 minutes time. I will put the link up now in a minute. I'll set up the StreamYard now. The link will be up on Facebook, and then I'll share it around all the usual places. And then come on in and join us for the second movie of the original trilogy, the best. Oh, and as I said to be panelists as well, listen, I know when we do stuff like this, especially because Disney has taken over now, sometimes when we're watching the old stuff, we kind of like to make comments about what Disney has done. I don't want that, to be quite honest with you. We're here to talk about Star Wars, right? Disney and Star Wars don't exist as far as I'm concerned, all right? It's fake wars, all right? So we don't talk about it when we're talking about the original trilogy. So if you just want to talk about the original trilogy, go ahead. But I don't want anybody talking about Disney Star Wars, because I'll tell you why. It upsets people, right? People get upset, and then before you know it, an argument starts over something because someone doesn't agree on this, that, and the other, right? The only movie that I'll even recognize, right, that Disney have done that's connected to Star Wars is Rogue One. As far as I'm concerned, the rest of them don't exist. So let's not talk about them and what they did wrong and how they ruined Luke Skywalker's character while you are watching these movies. Just watch the movies that we're watching now and enjoy them for what they were, right? Feck what Disney did, right? Simple as that. Because it's the same when we do the Doctor Who stuff. We always talk about Jodie Whittaker. I want to leave it out, right? We're here to talk about what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about Disney. If we want to talk about Disney Star Wars, we'll do a video on Disney Star Wars. So we're here to talk about the classic, original Star Wars trilogy. And with that said, I'm going to say again, rest in peace, Sean Connery. Thank you for the memories. We will. The thing about it is, we will be able to go back and watch everything that he's ever done. That's the best thing about TV and film, is that their legacies do live on. And us as fans, as I said, it's our job to make sure that we keep their legacies alive, and also to make sure that their legacies are respected. And the way they're respected is we tell these feminists, go and take your ideals, go and take your rubbish, your propaganda, and get it out of the James Bond franchise. Yeah? James Bond is a chauvinistic pig, a murderer, an alcoholic, whatever, a flawed man. Yeah? You aren't going to try change him. Okay? So, pee off. Right, folks, I'm going to go. Gonna go. So don't forget to join me for some Star Wars. The Empire. Yeah. Empire Strikes Back. My favourite out of them, believe it or not. This is my favourite movie because I'll tell you why. There's a bit more action in this one. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, happy Halloween to everybody. Nothing to be really happy about, is there? But there you go. Right. We're back in 45 minutes. I'll see you later. Gonna leave you with the trailer, and I'll catch you soon. The name is Bond, James Bond, licensed to kill. See you later, folks.